Of course, the Tigers will be there at 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. They'll be the first ones out in boys basketball at the pit on Wednesday as the Tigers look to advance to the semifinals. They would play 6:30 on Thursday if they were to get the win in that matchup. But, of course, they're looking at first things first, a Capital team which comes in at 23-5. And weren't exactly spectacular in their win over Gallup, but got the win. And we're joined by Coach Brian Schock and Coach Cary Stokes. And, let's kind of get right off the bat. I mean, we'll talk about the win on Saturday a little bit, but do you have any kind of a feeling on Capital? Do you know much about them at this point yet, or?
We've got a good feel for them right now. Pius was a tough draw. They're very scout intensive, more so than probably anybody else, in the state tournament because of their style. Damian, their coach, he runs multiple sets, multiple options off of every set, and I really felt, probably the best part of Saturday was our defensive effort. And minus one or two little breakdowns, we really felt like, the boys really provided a clinic defensively. Offensively, in the second quarter, we kind of gave a clinic on how not to attack a half-court trap. So, we did a good job making an adjustment at halftime, and the guys, kept their composure. But I would say defensively, that was one of our better efforts of the year.
Yeah. And with the Jaguars coming up, you talk about that St. Pius is a very scout-intensive team, and they've got a top-level coach. It's so hard. The only thing I can really do is look at the schedule the Capitals played, and I really don't necessarily believe they played a ton tougher than you guys did, with the exception maybe having to play Espanola Valley 4 times.
Sure.
But with Espanola Valley losing over the weekend, you kind of wonder about that one, but. This certainly feels like a game that you guys can have. It's not, a huge. I don't feel like you guys are huge underdogs going into this game.
No, we don't. And we knew going into the seeding and selection meeting that we were either going to get a 7 or 8 by criteria. Mathematically, it is what it is. But in our heart, we really felt like we were a top 3. And we still feel that way. So, the seeding criteria, it is what it is. And we played several really tough teams in Oñate, Cleveland, and Las Cruces. We played 1, 2, 3 in 6A. And, I don't see anybody else, 5A that did that. Our strength of schedule went down after our district schedule. But, we played a good schedule. And, it's not like Capital's going to, they have bigger, faster, stronger horses. They've got experience. They've got the tradition of being in the pit. Coach Gomez is a great coach. So I would say they've got the experience and, been there, done that advantage. But I guess we kind of have the advantage of ignorance is bliss, kind of, and we're happy where we're at. And I think that's what probably makes us dangerous. Before the Pius game, we had a good team meeting, and everybody, we dubbed the season a success, and we said no matter the outcome here on out, it was a successful year, and I think it kind of makes us dangerous. There's no pressure to win. There's no pressure or expectation. The only expectation is to do our best every night.
Yeah. Coach Stokes, what impressed you the most about the boys' performance on Saturday night when you came when you sat back and looked at it afterwards?
I was just telling Coach, I thought the defensive effort was really kind of poetic. If you really look at that game, the way that we switched, the way we made all different types of adjustments. There are some plays where 2 and 3 different players made 2 and 3 different adjustments in a given set. And sometimes they would run 2, 3, 4 sets, and we'd make multiple adjustments on 4 different sets. So I was really, really impressed defensively. And I think that's our strong point. Defensively, if we put teams in a position where they can't score, and then offensively we turn our horses loose, it's a tough situation. So like I said, I remember a couple of shows ago we talked about that St. Pius loss. And sure enough, it was an opportunity for these guys to redeem themselves, and they did.
Yeah. Well, and I think, going into a tournament setting, and Coach Shock, will let you jump in this here in a second, but Coach Stokes, having your defense performing at top level, you'd rather have that. If you had to choose between offense and defense probably be the choice, right?
Every day, all day.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what you want to do, you're basically saying it's not going to happen here, not tonight.
Yeah.
So, if you can't score and we score 5 or 6 points, ball game. And if you take pleasure in playing that really good team defense, I thought we rebounded well. I thought we kept our poise on the offensive end with that little exception in the second quarter. I mean, I thought it was I guess the way I would describe that game was it was bright. It was kind of illuminating performance. That's the way that it kind of, settles in my mind. It was a really bright, illuminating type of effort for everybody. And I was really glad that there was a good community turnout. It was really good to see a lot of smiling faces after that game. It was kind of like, this is what it's about. When you prepare, this is what it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Shock, I'll ask you, in terms of having, obviously you want to have everything working right in a team, but if your defense is going into tournament setting, and you would know, obviously, going through this tournament setting the last 2 years, makes a big difference when you can stop guys, because you may have an off shooting night. That's bound to happen at some point.
Sure. I look back through my career, I would say one of my biggest mistakes as a young coach was being too offensively minded. And I think that's where you kind of grow and develop and mature as a coach. And, it's really transitioned into, very grinded out defensive effort. And then we'll get what we get on the offensive end. But, right now we're working on defending. We've got a couple, different ways to attack them offensively. But, it goes back all year. We've had 8 different leading scorers over the course of the year. And it's, it's kind of like, as an opposing coach, who do you key in on? And, our guys, if our chemistry is right and we figure out who's been keyed in on and let the game come to us and we don't try to force too much action, I think that we'll have a good outcome.
What do you feel like you can help partake to the guys, heading into this? Because, last 2 years, obviously, you've taken a team to state championship out there in Cliff. What is it? Anything you feel like you can share with them, or is it just, they've got to go out there and play and do their best? Well,
the week that I even accepted the job, I actually got on the phone with one of the UNM assistant coaches, and we signed up for, the UNM team camp. So we played in the pit back in June, and we took our selfies and we took all of our pictures and did all the, tourist attraction kind of, walk through. And I told him, I said, the next time we're here, it's gonna be a business trip. And, they earned their business trip, and now it's time to go take care of business.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, and you mentioned it as well just a second ago, the fact that, again, we had balanced scoring again, and you had somebody like Amore Elliott who hasn't maybe had a strong and offensive impact on the team in the second half of the season. He was as crucial as anybody was for you guys in that game.
Sure. we went through all the team statistics. We went through everything. We were very pointed in everybody's role, offensively, defensively, and I thought that the guys did a good job, especially late in the game, whenever we had a 10-point lead, with 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to go, and, we kept it. We played conservative. We made free throws, and, I thought we just did a really good job down the stretch taking time off of the clock without taking bad shots. There were times where we spread the floor, ran offense for a minute, and then ended with a layup, and that's the way the game's played, especially in March and, in the pit to win a title.
Coach Stokes, I know when you and me usually talk about the team, we talk about mindset. If you're talking to the guys, what kind of, Coach Shock obviously talked about business trip, that kind of deal. What kind of mindset do you want the boys to have heading into Wednesday? Because, it's also that fact you guys are playing a Wednesday morning game as well. And that's another challenge of playing in this tournament setting.
Well, for me personally, I try to break it down as simple as possible for the team. It comes down to, it's like going to a park on a Saturday morning. It's like our 5 versus their 5. We're going to impose our will. We're here to win, and that's what we're going to do. My man's not going to beat me. Your man's not going to beat you. I'm going to score on my man. He's going to score on his man. At the end of the day, their mom can't help him. Their dad can't help him. Best man's going to win. And that's kind of how I look at this. I mean, I think we got a good group of talented young men, and they've come together at the right time. They've paid their dues, and here we are.
Yeah. Anything could happen in this setting. I think we've seen that more and more. And, Coach Schock, I mean, it's come to this with, are you impressed with how much this team has, molded and matured this season?
Sure. I mean, we're impressed, but I mean, we expected it out of them. I told them, I said, I'm not surprised. I said, you guys, you've earned it. It's, been a tough, bumpy road, and we've put a lot of time and energy in on the court and the classroom, off the court and personal lives, trying to, really make a difference. And, I told them, I said, you earned it, and we've expected it, and here we are. And, and however it turns out, I told him, I said, you'll never regret giving your best, even if you get beat, and we're just going to go play, man, and have fun.
All right, well, looking forward to it. Wednesday morning, 8 a.m., Alamogordo Tigers versus the Capital Jaguars in the State 5A, Class 5A quarterfinals. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.